Okay, so let us take the next one is called as we'll define the bivariate cumulative density function, cumulative distribution, as well as the density function. Let us define here. Okay, you can take the next subheading as. Okay, so you know multiple bivariate random variable is nothing but if there are two random variables are there, we are going to call the term as a bivariate random variable. Okay, so let us define the bivariate cumulative distribution function here. So it is called as the bivariate CDF here. Okay, so it is similar to what we have seen in the module 1 here. It is similar to what we have seen in the module 1. So just we are going to consider for the two random variables you are going to consider. That's the only difference here. Okay, so bivariate CDF we can call it here. Bivariate cumulative distribution function we can call it here. Okay, so it will be defined like this here. So for the two random variables, okay, so you can take the statement here for the bivariate random variable. For the bivariate random variable x and y. For the bivariate random variable, bivariate is nothing but nothing but two. So two random variables you go to call it as a bivariate here. So for the bivariate random variable x and y, the CDF is defined as. So we can define the CDF like this here. For the bivariate random variable x and y, the CDF is defined as. So we can define like this. So bivariate is nothing but it's a two random variables are there. We are going to call it as a joint random variable. So we can define like this here. It is x is less than or equal to the x intersection of y is less than or equal to the y here. So this is the CDF of the two random variables that is called as a bivariate random variable we are going to define here. Okay. So since the two random variables are there, so in the exam they will ask explain the bivariate CDF with the different examples they are going to tell. So I can define this one and you can give the example for that one here. So different examples here. So in order to give the example for this one here, okay, what I'm going to do is the x and y as the random variables are there. We can consider the x and y as the 2 points on the xy plane we can consider here. We can consider the x and y as the 2 points in the x and y plane here. So here, this is the probability that x can take the value less than x here and y can take the value less than y here. So one point I'm going to mark here, which consists of the value x and y will be there here. X and y is there. So since it is a probability which is going to take the value x is less than x, y is less than y. So the bivariate CDF will take the value less than x and y it will take here. So I can define this one as a. So we can shade this one here, or just I'm going to mark it with the lines like this here. So we can define the bivariate CDF, something like this we can define on the x and y plane we can define like this here. This is one of the example we can give it for the bivariate CDF here. Okay, so what you are going to assume is we are going to assume that x and y are the points on the on the xy plane we are assuming here, xy plane. So this is a xy plane. So on that one, we are going to mark this is the bivariate CDF we are going to call here. So this one is called as the bivariate. Okay, CDF we are going to call here bivariate CDF, which can take the value less than or equal to the xy. This is one of the examples just we are giving, that's it here. Okay, so done. So this is an example we can give it here. So you can take this as an example. So notes is there. I'm going to post the notes. So in the detailed explanation I'm giving here. So just here I'm telling the things, and here I'm going to tell you the important formulas and the examples I will give it here. Okay. Similarly, we can define the this bivariate CDF. We can define within the 2 points. We can define like this here. Okay. So the bivariate CDF we can define on the x and y plane here, which is going to lie between the 2 points you are going to consider here. Between the 2 points here. So one is x and y. Another one is the small quantity which is called as the x of delta x and y of y plus delta y here. So dy we are going to consider. So for this one, which is going to lie between this one, we can call that as a probability we can call here. So usually we know that the probability, okay, so will be taken here. So one of the property of the CDF, I'm going to recall that one here. So the property is that fx of x1 is less than x here is less than the x2. So this will be taken as the probability that x can take the value less than the x2 minus the probability that x can take the value less than or equal x than the x1. So this was the property of the CDF here. So by using this one, I'm going to extend this property for the bivariate random variable. I'm going to extend here. What are the properties we have seen here? I'm going to extend for the bivariate also here in order to express in order to explain this bivariate CDF. Okay, so that is alva. just I'm going to consider this property and I'm going to extend here. Now I'm going to consider another example of the waveform which is going to be lie between the x comma y and x plus dx and y plus dy here. So I'm going to consider same xy plane. I'm going to consider here same xy plane here. Okay, on the xy plane, I'm going to consider one point which is nothing but x comma y here, x comma y, and another point I'm going to consider which is nothing but the x plus dx. Dx is nothing but the small quantity, and also y plus dy is a small quantity here. So I'm going to consider the area which is going to lie between this one. So this one is also considered as an example of the CDF here. Okay, so x and y means, so this is the value of y here, this is the value of x, and x plus dx is nothing but this is the value of, okay, so this is the value of the x plus dx here. So this is x plus dx, and this is x here, and this is y, and this is y plus dy here. So I'm going to consider the area which is going to lie between this one. So I'm going to shade this one with the example like this here. Okay, so this is other example of the bivariate CDF which is considered between the 2 points here, x comma y and x plus dx and y plus dy here. Okay, so I'm going to consider the between this one, and we are going to evaluate the PDF of this one here. So in the last classes we have seen the problem which is going to lie like this here. Okay, so now I'm interested to find out the probability that, so this is the formula we'll take, the vice versa also will take here, that is probability that x1 is, last class we have seen, no, x1 is less than x is less than the x2. So this is nothing but f of x is less than the x2 minus, like that we'll take, no. Similarly, we are going to find out the probability like this here. Okay, getting here, right? Getting the concept now? Okay, so similar way I'm going to consider here. So let us consider let dp denotes the, okay, so just I'm going to denote the dp as the probability. Let dp denotes the probability. Okay, dp denotes the probability lies between, probability lies between the x comma y and x plus dx comma y plus dy here. So I'm going to consider the dp, which is the probability which is going to lie between this one here. As per the probability, we can consider dp here. I'm going to call it as a dp. So dp can be also be considered as an example like this here. The probability that x1 can take the value less than x2 here. So this is the thing, but f of x can take the value less than x2 minus this one, no. So here f of x2 is the thing but this quantity, x1 is the thing but this quantity. We can take the probability like this in terms of the bivariate CDF. We can define like this here. So this is the thing but x plus dx, it is the upper limit here. Okay, and the lower limit, the lower upper limit for the y-axis is y plus dy minus the bivariate CDF of the x comma y. We can consider like this here. Okay, so this is how we can find out the probability that is going to lie between this shaded area can be find out here. That probability we are going to call it as the dp you are going to call here. Okay, dp you are going to call here. So done. So this is one of the example here. So in the exam they will ask the question like explain the bivariate CDF with the different examples they are going to tell. One example is this one, other example is this one. So here we are going to find out the probability that dp can takes here within this one here. And also this expression, okay, so this expression can be explained by using the Taylor's series here, by using the two-dimensional Taylor series. So by using the 2D Taylor series, so in the mathematics you have come across this one here. In the two-dimensional Taylor series, this can be explained like this here. So this can be given as del by del x of, okay, so del by del x of xy of x comma y with respect to the dx. Okay, so with respect to dx plus del by del y of fxy of x comma y with respect to the dy. We can give like this here. We can define like this also. We can define here. Okay, so these are different ways of defining the bivariate CDF with an example with the Taylor series here. And also one of the property of the CDF we are seeing in the first module that, so fx of x is it's a non-decreasing value of the x here. Non-decreasing means always f of x will increases like this here. So here also the differentials, what are the differentials we have taken, dx and dy are the positive values will be considered here, positive values, and I'll consider as the positive values here. And also the fxy of x comma y, so it is also a non-decreasing non-decreasing function with respect to the non-decreasing function in both x and y axis here. X and y axis here. Okay, so getting it right? Getting, you know, so this is the bivariate CDF. It can be defined in terms of these two examples here. Okay, just to recall, I'll recall the concept once again here. So for the two random variables x and y, we are going to call it as a bivariate random variable. The CDF can be defined like this here. Okay, so let us recall the single CDF. The same thing has been expanded for the bivariate CDF also. It will be defined like this here. Okay, so here we are going to assume x and y are the points on the plane here on the xy axis. It can take the value something like this here. Okay, so this is an example of the bivariate CDF here. Similar way, I'm going to consider the bivariate CDF, which is going to lie between the 2 points here. One is x comma y, other one is the x plus dx and y plus dy. So this is going to consider here. Now in order to find out what is the probability that it is going to lie here, I'm considered dp as one of the probability. So by using the concept of we are saying in the morning class the probability, we are expanded this one here. So this one can be expanded in terms of the Taylor series, two-dimensional Taylors. We can like this. Okay. So this will take the positive value also, it will take here. And also what are the property we applied for the CDF, the same property can be explained for the bivariate CDF also. It is, that is fx of xy of x comma y. So it's a non-decreasing function both in the x and y axis. It will be in the increasing function only will be there here. Okay, so like this we can define the bivariate CDF for the two random variables, and the examples can be given like this here. And also the CDF, we have seen the many properties of the CDF. We have seen some 4 properties we have seen here. The same thing can be extended for the bivariate CDF also. We can extend the same properties here. Okay, so those are nothing but the special cases we'll take here. You can take special cases of CDF here. That is bivariate CDF we can take here. Special cases of bivariate CDF. Got the concept here now? How the CDF will be defined? Any doubts with this concept here? The concept is very simple. Nothing is there. What we have defined, just we are extending here with the example we are giving, that's it here. In the two-dimensional axis, we are giving the example. Okay. So right, fine. So now we have seen the first property of the CDF. We have seen that is fx of minus infinity is equal to the 0. No, fx of minus infinity is equal to 0. That is called the null event you are going to call here. Null event you are going to call here. That is one of the property of the CDF we have seen here. The same property here also it is going to be extended here. Okay, so you can take the statement here. The event at x is less than minus infinity. So for the value of x is less than minus infinity is an impossible event, because no event is possible at that case. So it is called as an impossible event. Impossible event. So that is defined as a null set here. This is called as a null set we are going to call here, impossible event. Okay, so at x is less than minus infinity, nothing is possible, no event is possible here. So we can define mathematically like this here. fxy of minus infinity comma y, because I'm taking the substituting the value of the infinity here, x here. So this will become equal to the probability that, so as per the definition of the CDF, it is fxy is the probability that x can take the value less than x here, and y can take the value less than y. So since for x is less than infinity, this is the a null event. I can take it as a 0. Null event is the 0 intersection with, so y can take the value less than the y here. Getting the same concept here I am using here, so you can see the concept. Okay, you can see right now. You can see, I guess. Okay, fxy can be defined as probability that x can take the value less than x here, intersection with y can take the value less than y. So since in place of x here we have minus infinity is a minus infinity. So this minus infinity we can call it as a null event we can call here. So you can extend probability of null event intersection with the y is less than or equal to y. So null event intersection with something multiply with 0. So this one you can call it as 0. It is called as a null event you are going to call here. The probability of the null event, the probability of the null event, which is equal to the 0 we can call here. So we can say that fxy of minus infinity comma y is equal to the 0. This is same as what we have seen, the one of the property of the CDF we have seen here. That is fx of minus infinity is equal to 0. Done? Done, right? So similar way, even this is applicable in the x-axis here. So same way we can applicable in the y-axis also. We can applicable in the same way we can applicable here. Okay, so it will be taken like this. So similarly, we can extend like this. So fx y of x comma minus infinity for y is equal to minus infinity is also 0, and also we can extend for both the random variables. We can expand here. So that is minus infinity comma minus infinity is equal to the 0 will get here. Okay, so this is the property of the CDF. It has been expanded for the bivariate CDF also. We are extended here. Done, right? Okay, and also we have seen one more property. One more property we have seen here. That is property that fx of plus infinity. So fx of plus infinity is equal to 1. So that is the limit. It is all the possible events will be there. So that is the limit 1 will get here. The same way we can extend this property for the bivariate random variable. So we are going to express here. Okay, so you can take, done, right? No doubt with this one. So you can take here the event x can take the value less than infinity, less than or equal to infinity, is a certain event. Certain event is the limit. It's a sure event here. Certain event. Yes, S is the limit. Set of all compromises for all the events. Certain event S, and is valid for any value of y, on the xy plane, given by it is given like this here. So this is equal to the fxy of, so I'm going to make x is equal to the infinity comma y. So I can take this one as the probability. So at infinity all the events are possible, so you can say it is a sure event you are going to call, or it's a sample space you are going to call. So sample space intersection of y can take the value less than or equal to the y. Okay, S is nothing but the sample space here. So this is equal to the, so sample space intersection with the y is less than or equal to y means, so you're going to get the same y is less than or equal to y only you're going to get here. That is the probability that because if I'm going to multiply something with the small quantity, I'm going to get the small quantity you're going to get here, because I just shown the example of the one is called as a shifting property. I think you have seen in your signals and systems, or the product property of this one. Okay, so this will become equal to the P of y can take the value less than or equal to y. So this in turn we can define as a fy of y. We can define here fy of y. So because the sample space is nothing but all the events will be there. Okay, so for example, in terms of the Venn diagram, we can show it like this here. So sample space is nothing but all events will be there. When I'm going to take the intersection with the y here, y. So these are some quantities of the y will be there. So only those quantities will be up here. That's why I'm going to take it as a probability of y is less than or equal to y. We are going to take here. Okay, this will be equal to the fy of y. We are going to call. So such a probabilities we are going to call it as a marginal probabilities. You are going to call here marginal probabilities. Okay, so this fy, which is obtained from the bivariate random variable, we are going to call it as a marginal probability. We are going to call here marginal probability, or marginal CDF. You are going to call, because it's a CDF. We can call that one. Okay, so similar way we can extend this one for the xy of x comma infinity. We can extend here. That is the probability that, okay, probability that x can take the value less than or equal to the x here, intersection with the sample space. So this will become equal to the probability that x can take the value less than x here. So this is equal to the fx of x will get here. Fx of x here. Okay, fx of x will get here. So we can say that this fx of x and fy of y, which are obtained from the bivariate. So you're going to call this one as the marginal CDFs. You're going to call here marginal, because it's a part of that one you're going to take here. So this is called as the marginal CDFs. You're going to call here marginal CDFs. So this is a property which has been extended from the single random variable. The same property has been extended here also here. Okay, so similar way, let us apply for this one also. Fxy of infinity comma infinity. So this will become equal to the 1 will get here. because all the possible events will be there. 1 is nothing but all the sum of all the probabilities will be equal to the 1 will get here. Okay. So this is the bivariate cumulative distribution function. So in the exam, I think once in the exam it has been asked here. Explain the bivariate cumulative distribution function with the examples, different examples. So you can write this quantity. You can write about the bivariate cumulative distribution function. So it will be asked for some 6 to 8 marks. They will ask here. Okay. Done, right? Okay, fine. So next we'll go for the bivariate PDF. Let us see here bivariate probability density function here. Okay. So let us take bivariate probability density function. We'll take here probability density function. Probability density function here. So PDF. So you know that the PDF can be obtained from the CDF by differentiating the CDF. If you are going to differentiate, you are going to get the PDF you are going to get here. PDF. Okay. Done. So this bivariate PDF is given by. So this is given by. So as we know that. So just I'll write here. So fx of x can be obtained by differentiating the fx of x here. By differentiating the CDF, you're going to get the PDF you're going to get here. So similar way here also it is obtained by. So fxy, because it's a two random variables x comma y. So I'm going to differentiate 2 times here. So it will be called as a del square. 1 time with respect to dx, 1 time with respect to the del y here. So it is fxy of x comma y here. So you're going to differentiate with respect to the x1s, y1s, because the 2 random variables are there. So you're going to get the fxy you're going to get here. Del square by del x into del y of fxy of x comma y will get here. Okay. So here we are going to assume that fxy of x comma y is assumed to be a continuous function. It is a assumed to be the continuous function of x and y. It has been assumed here. It's a continuous function of x and y. We're going to assume it here. Okay, continuous function of x will be assumed here. And what are the properties we are seeing for the CDF for the single random variable? The same properties also been extended for this one here. Okay, some properties you can take here. So properties of bivariate PDF here. Bivariate PDF we can assume here. Properties of the bivariate PDF. The same concept will be used here. Okay, so the concept is so one of the properties that since the CDF, whatever the CDF is there, so okay, it is a non-decreasing function of x and y here. So since CDF is a non-decreasing function of x and y. So since it's a non-decreasing function of x and y is there here. So the PDF here. So this bivariate PDF. So this is also the it's a non-negative. It's always a non-negative value here. Always a non-negative value. Always it's a non-negative value. So since the CDF is a non-decreasing function here, already we have seen the property of the single CDF here. So the PDF is also a non-negative value will be there. So we can define like this here. So fx y of x comma y is always greater than or equal to 0 will be there. So for minus infinity is less than x. Okay, and y is less than the plus infinity. So from minus infinity to the plus infinity, so x comma y is nothing but. So both x and y can take the value from minus infinity to the plus infinity. So this will be always greater than 0 will be there here. Always it's a positive value will be there. Okay. So the example of bivariate CDF can be shown here in terms of the axis. Okay. So 2-dimensional axis we can show like this here. So this is I'm going to plot it parallelly as a 3-dimensional graph. I'm going to plot it here. So here also it is plotted here. Okay, so you can plot this one as a graph. We can plot it here. So let us draw the parallel lines parallel to this one. Okay, and let us draw the parallel lines parallel to this one here. And similarly, let us draw these parallel lines here. Okay, so let us draw the lines parallel to this one so that we'll get the three-dimensional graph view we'll get here. Three-dimensional graph we will get here. So the bivariate CDF can be plotted like this. We can plot it here. So this is one of the example here. Okay, so this is it will be plotted like this here. Okay, so the different examples it has been given in the textbook here. So I'm not a good painter. Okay, so I don't know how to draw. Okay, so the example I will show in the textbook here. So this is the bivariate CDF. It is there here, bivariate CDF. So you can draw this one accordingly. So the three-dimensional graph you can plot it here. So this is the bivariate PDF example. You can plot it here. Okay, this is an example of the bivariate PDF. So where this one is something called x-axis here, and this is called something called y-axis. Okay, so sorry, this is y-axis here, and this is x-axis. Y-axis and x-axis, it will be considered here. Okay, so this is an example of the PDF which has been drawn here. And also the properties of the PDF, what we have seen, the same properties can be extended for the bivariate PDF also we can extend here. So I think you have taken. So you define the bivariate PDF, which can be obtained by differentiating the CDF here. By differentiating the CDF, we are going to get the bivariate PDF here. And also we know that the CDF is a non-decreasing function of x and y, so that always the PDF will be always greater than or equal to 0 will be there here, greater than or equal to 0. And the next property what we have seen for the PDF is, so we can obtain the CDF from the, so one of the property of the PDF we have seen is, okay, so just I'll write the property. So we can obtain the CDF, that is fx of x, okay, of the single random variable I can define here. I'm defining that is by integrating the PDF from -infinity to up to x. Okay, so by integrating this one, we can able to obtain the CDF of the random variable x we can obtain here. So this concept can be extended for the bivariate random variable also. We can expand here bivariate random variable also. So you can take the bivariate CDF, the bivariate CDF, the bivariate CDF can be obtained by the bivariate CDF can be obtained by integrating the PDF, by integrating the PDF given by integrating the PDF given by. So similar to this way, we are going to integrate here. So one is with respect to the infinity up to the y, other one is with respect to the x here. So it is fxy of something called some random values u and v. We are going to integrate with respect to the du and dv here. Okay, so instead of taking x and y, just we are taking some other random variables. We are taking x and y. We are going to integrating here. So by substituting the limits, we can able to obtain the CDF from the PDF we can obtain here. Okay, we can obtain like this here. So done now. So this is the how we can obtain the one of the property here. And also we are seeing only one of the important property of this PDF we are seeing. The property of the PDF is the area under the PDF is equal to 1 year. So the area under the PDF is equal to 1. This is one of the important property of the PDF we are seeing here. So similar way we can extend that one here. So for the single random variable, we are going to call the area we are going to call. For the bivariate random variable, we can call it as the volume you are going to call here, because it consists of the, as a graph I plotted here, it is similar to the volume you are going to appear here. So what we can say is the volume under the PDF. Okay, so the volume under the bivariate PDF, the volume under the bivariate PDF. So this will be equal to 1 we'll get here. The volume under the bivariate PDF is equal to 1. So that is the integral from -infinity to the +infinity. So similar way I'm going to extend here, equal to -infinity to +infinity. So fxy of x comma y into dx into dy, dx into dy. So this area is equal to 1 here. So if I'm going to integrate from -infinity to +infinity, so this will become equal to the fx of, okay, so infinity comma infinity will get here, that is fx y of infinity comma infinity. So this will become equal to the 1 will get here. So I'll read it here, fx y of infinity comma infinity, this will become equal to 1 here, because if I'm going to integrate here, this will become equal to plus infinity. So as we've seen the proof of this one in the CDF here, in case of single random variable, the same way here also we can recall that one and we'll write here. Okay, so that this is one of the property of the PDF we have seen. Here also we are going to extend that one and consider as the volume we are going to consider here. And also in some other textbooks, so here we are going to call it as a bivariate, we are going to call here bivariate because it's a two random variable. So some other textbook it is also called as a joint probabilities, they are going to call here. Joint probabilities they are going to call here, or the joint PDF they are going to call here. Joint PDF, because it's a x and y, it's an intersection, the product will be there. It is a thing, but the intersection of x and y will be there here. So it is going to call it as a joint random variables you're going to call here. Okay. So done, right? And similar way, we have seen one of the property of the PDF here. So one of the property of the PDF we have seen here, that is we can find out the that is CDF, that we say it as a CDF here. Okay, so that is nothing but something called fx of that is already we defined here in the morning problem, fx of x2, sorry, x1 is less than x here is less than the x2. Okay, so this is nothing but the sorry, this is the probability here. This is the probability x1 is less than x is less than x2. This is defined as a fx of, okay, so it is x2 minus fx of x1 will be considered here. So similar way, this concept can be applicable for finding the area of the curve. We can consider here area of the curve. I'm going to give that property in the simplified manner. I'll give here. So let us consider certain area which is going to lie between the. So like this, I'm going to consider the x and y axis. The CDF I'm going to consider here. The CDF cumulative distribution function I'm going to consider here. So I need to find out the. Okay, so let me plot it here. So this is a shaded here. So this is the x and this is the x plus dx as we see here, and this is the random variable y, and this is the y plus dy here, y plus dy. So I need to find out the area under this one. So this area is called as the dA. We need to find out here. So dx into dy. So the area under this unshaded area we need to find out here. So this area unshaded area we need to find out is the but how to find out the area under this one is, okay. So it is, okay, we can find out by considering this part here. Considering that this part of the portion we need to consider here, and we need to integrate this one part of the portion in order to get the area under this unshaded curve we need to find out here. So this can be find out in the two ways they can find out here. One is directly we can find out here. Other one is two ways it has been mentioned in the textbook here. Just I'm going to recall that concept here. Okay, so how to find out this one is, okay, what they are considering is they're going to consider the area between the x plus dx. So from here x plus dx to the x they are considering here. One equation, one area they are finding. One is from x plus dx to the x they are considering here. So I'm going to write in the mathematical expression so that you'll understand here. So fxy, okay, so it is considered as a x plus dx, okay, from x plus dx, okay, they're considering part of the area, means they're going to get the full area we are going to get here. And other one is y plus dy. If you are going to consider from y plus dy up to the minus infinity, so we'll get the full area of this curve we are going to get here, y plus dy here, okay, so y plus dy. So if I'm going to find out this part of the area we need to find out here, what we need to do is we need to find out the area from x plus dx till the minus infinity and y plus dy till the minus infinity, and we need to separate that one from the x to the minus infinity and y to the minus infinity. We need to separate, correct now? Okay, so you're getting it right. So if I want to find out the area of this portion, if you want to find out, means how to find out is the one method is find the area from the x plus dx up to the minus infinity, okay, and y plus dy to the minus infinity, so that we'll get the complete area we are going to get here. So that area we need to subtract with the x to the minus infinity and y to the minus infinity here. So if you're going to subtract this one, we are going to get this part of the area we are going to get here. Okay, so that can be find out by taking the two equations like this here. So one is Okay, just you follow. Just you take the expression. I'll later explain here. So x plus dx and y plus dy. So if I'm going minus, so in order to find out this one, fx y of x comma y plus dy, they are finding here y plus dy. So this will give the area. Okay, so this will give the area of this part until this part you are going to get here. Okay, so if I'm going to find out this by using this expression, what will they fxy of x plus dx from here to this part here. Okay, y plus dy from here to this part I'm going to find out. So means this entire area we are going to find out here. This entire portion of the area we're going to find out. So that one you're going to subtract with the x plus dx, okay, and y plus dy here. So if I'm going to subtract, so just I'm going to show graphically here. So first we are finding this part of the area, and afterwards we are going to subtract that one with this part of the area here. Okay, so this is this area which is going to start from x plus dx and y plus dy. We are starting here, and this portion of the area which is called as a x and y plus dy here. Y plus dy means it is going to be extended till this part here. So I'm going to separate so that we'll get this portion of the area we are getting here. This portion of the area we are getting here. Okay, this portion of the area we are able to get here. Okay, we are getting this one by using this expression. So it can be written mathematically on the RHS part like this here. So that is by integrating from x to the x plus dx, because x to the x plus dx here. Okay, and integrating from the minus infinity. So since I'm taking from the minus infinity up to the y plus dy, so we are going to do with the PDF we are going to do. So du into dv here. So you can take this one as the du into dv. Got it now? Du into dv, so that you are going to get this part of the area we are going to get here. Okay, understood? No, you got the concept. You got the concept, right? Okay, so this portion we got here. Now we got this portion here. So for this entire this portion I got here. So this is from up to infinity I'm getting here. So from that one I need to remove this shaded portion. I need to remove here. So shaded portion, if I want to remove, means so it will be this area will be the x plus dx to the up to the x here, and y up to the minus infinity will be there here. Y up to the minus infinity will be there. So if I'm going to subtract this equation with the y minus dy, so I'm going to get the area. So next equation I'm going to define with respect to this shaded portion of the area, that it can be obtained like this here. Okay, so this can be obtained like this. So let us take that expression can be given like this here. So I'm going to take the area of this shaded portion I'm taking here, this shaded portion. So this is from the x plus dx up to the x will be there, and this is the y plus dy here. So from here it is y up to the minus infinity will be there here, y up to the minus infinity. So this area we can find out like this, fxy of x plus dx here. So because from here to here I need to find out the area, and y here it is y here minus the another area is fxy of this part here x. Okay, and up to the y here, up to y means y can take the value up to the infinity. So this will be given by the expression. The expression will be like this here. So it is from x to the x plus dx. Okay, x to the x plus dx. This is one of the property of the PDF we have seen here. Okay, and this is from the minus infinity up to the y, because y can take the value minus infinity up to the y here, up to the y. So it is fx. Okay, so fx y of x comma y into uv into du into dv here, du into dv. So I'll rewrite integral from x to the x plus dx, integral from minus infinity to the y, fxy of u comma v into du into dv here, du into dv. So right, so by subtracting that one we can able to obtain that area. Okay, we can able to obtain this area here. Now if I'm going to take the difference of this is the equation 2, let us call here, and previous one let us call as the equation 1. If I'm going to take the difference of that one, so previously we find this area we find previously here. So this area we find previously, that is from x plus dx to this one. When I take the difference of these two, we are going to get this portion we are going to obtain here. Okay, so you can take by taking the difference of call previous equation as equation 1 here, equation 1 and 2, equation 1 and 2, we get the differential area. dA is equal to dx into dy, given by it will be given in terms of the probability that x comma y belongs to dA. Okay, so this will be x to the x plus dx and integral from y to the y plus dy. So directly we can integrate from this part here. So fxy of u comma v into, so du into dv here, du into dE. Okay, so like this we can obtain here. This is for the small portion of the area we can obtain like this. Suppose if this dA is a larger area, dA is a large area, something say it is equal to r, then the probability we can obtain like this here. So x comma y belongs to the region R. We can say this is equal to integral, the limits of the integral we can say it here, fxy of x comma y into dx into dy here. So this is for the small values you are going to use and v. For the larger values you can use a dx and dy we can use here. Okay. So similarly, we have some two properties are there. Just I'll quickly recall. So that is going to be extended from the marginal PDF. It has been extended here. So marginal PDF we are extended here. So I'll take that one quickly. So you can take from the marginal CDF. So the marginal CDF is nothing but we have this one here. This is the this is the marginal CDF here. Where it is there, yeah. So we have the marginal CDF used. Okay, so we have the marginal CDF here. This is the marginal CDF here. These are the marginal CDFs here. So from this one, we are going to extend the property for the getting the marginal PDF also. So let us extend that one here. So you can take from the marginal CDF. From the marginal CDF, we have so what we have is fxy of x comma infinity is equal to fx of x here, and similarly we have fxy of infinity comma y is equal to fy of y is there here, fy of y. So from this one we can extend this one to the marginal PDF also we can extend here. So you can take the marginal PDF is given by the marginal PDF. Marginal PDF is it's a single PDF obtained from the bivariate PDF. You are going to call it as the marginal PDF you are going to call here. Okay, so it is given by, so fx of x can be obtained here. So this will be equal to the fx of can be obtained from this one by differentiating this one here. So we can say d by dx of fxy of x comma infinity, fxy of x comma infinity. So this one we have fxy of x comma infinity, it is called as a, so it is minus infinity up to the x, and this is infinity is the upper limit infinity. So we will have fxy of, so just what are the equation we are used there, the same equation we are using here. So this is this is u, because the random variable x is there, u into y into, so d into dy, because we are having the x is there, that's why I'm taken as u here, du into dy. Okay, so this can be given as, so this quantity will be equal to the 1 will be there, that is integral from minus infinity to plus infinity, fxy of y will become equal to the 1. The remaining quantity we are going to get, that is fx of x will obtain by integrating from minus infinity up to the plus infinity. Okay, so this will be obtained fxy of x comma y into dy here, fx of x comma y into dy. So you're going to get here. So okay, just a small mistake, small correction here. If I'm going to integrate fx y from minus infinity up to the x with respect to the du, what you'll be getting is, so you're going to get as a fxy of x will get here. Fxy of x will get here because I'm going to substitute the limit as x here. So that's why fxy of x comma y, this limit will going to be evaluated here. The remaining quantity is integral from minus infinity to plus infinity, dy will be there. So that one you're going to get here. Okay, so we can say the marginal PDF can be obtained by integrating the bivariate CDF with respect to the dy here.